Hey there, welcome in. My name's Josh, and today we're going to be talking about some things that could help you become a morning person. So there's a lot of advantages of being a morning person. You know, you can watch some TED Talks or you go on Google and figure out why people think that being the morning person is a better thing. And, you know, I get that there's appeal for night owls. I'm definitely not one, so I'm definitely biased in my opinion that morning people are amazing. But I also know that there's a lot of people who wish that they could be morning people but struggle to do that. So I wanted to share some tips that I found that helped me become a morning person because I haven't always been one and I sometimes still struggle to wake up, so I totally get that. So the two biggest things that I think make it difficult for people to wake up early in the morning is that they don't get enough sleep the night before, and then they don't take care of everything they needed to the day before. So the first one, like, you need 6 hours at a minimum to get the minimum required number of hours of sleep according to science. 6 to 8 is like the magic number. I personally found somewhere between 6 and 7 to work for me. 8 is kind of a treat and 9 is just ridiculous. So I have around the 6 to 7 range, which means I typically end up falling asleep somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock and then wake up at 5, and that meets the first part of the quota for getting enough like scientifically required number of REM cycles and sleep and all the stuff that sleep does for you. So 6 to 7 hours, that means you're at 10 or 11. Not too bad. Now I get that younger people especially have a lot of peer pressure to stay up late because all their friends are staying up late, so I can see how it can be difficult to pull the plug at, 9-ish so that you can be asleep by 10-ish, 11-ish. I get that. That can seem really unrealistic or annoying, especially to your friends who aren't waking up early, but the thing with waking up early is that it gives you a sense of rhythm and routine that does a lot to improve your mood. And speaking of mood and routine is that they're really, really connected. The more stable of a schedule of routine that you have, especially as far as your sleep schedule is concerned, the more it helps moderate everything you feel internally in your headspace, and it just makes you feel better all around if you can go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. Okay, so that sounds good so far. 11 o'clock is still pretty late and you can still get your 6 hours, so that seems reasonable. Maybe you can, maybe your friends turn around that time anyway. So let's say if you can get the minimum hours of sleep, but it's still really hard. I mentioned that they didn't get done what they needed to the day before, and what I mean by that is that waking up in the morning will never be as easy as you want it to be, at least not in the beginning. And what I mean by that is that in my personal experience, I found it to be the case that I always get hit by this brick wall. I call it this fog. I always wake up in this fog every morning. And it's the worst. Like, it doesn't matter how I go to bed, it doesn't really matter how happy I am, it doesn't really matter any of the positive things that I experienced the day before. More often than not, I wake up in the morning with this fog of depression and uncertainty and anxiety because I know that I'm waking up early and putting myself through this so that I can go do something hard. Like, it's hard enough to wake up at 5 a.m. It's harder still to wake up at 5 a.m. and then go and do something difficult like learn art or learn a foreign language or take another class at school. Like, you can do it, people do it, but can't there be a way for you to do that and not hate your life and be super depressed and miserable? And the answer is yes, because I thought that the answer was no for a long time, and I just thought that, you know what, I'm gonna wake up at 5, I'm gonna do this hard thing, I'm just gonna grit my teeth, I'm gonna bear it, I'm gonna be disciplined, and I'm just gonna go and do it. And I did that for like 2 years. And it didn't work out very well, and I was very sad. And I was like, okay, I like this discipline thing, I like waking up early, but how can I not be a sad boy all the time? Like, that would be great. And the thing that I found to, assuming I get the 6 at least hours of sleep, which I'm pretty good at doing, how can I get through this fog in the morning? And I found that getting through the fog, which I have a feeling that a lot of other people experience as well, is that I have to get that very important activity done to me the day before. And when I say that very important activity, I'm not talking about my goals, I'm talking about my dreams. I'm talking about the activities that make me feel alive, that give me life, that literally breathe life into me and make me feel happy. Like, for you, it could be like, maybe there's a video game that you just love to play so much. Maybe it's hanging out with your friends, maybe it's a long walk, maybe it's a nice long shower, maybe it's listening to, some music while you do something else. Like, maybe for you, maybe you like doodling, maybe it's doodling, but whatever it is that gives you life, make sure you do that, because that serves as your anchor in the midst of a day that could otherwise have all sorts of things happen to it, from good to bad. But if you do the thing that gives you life every day, you at least have that to hold on to. And for me, one of the hugest ones in my life is I need to spend at least 30 minutes to an hour with my wife, just hanging out, just talking, how was your day, just spending time and enjoying one another. Because if I don't get that time, It is next to impossible for me to roll out of bed at 5 in the morning because it's like I'm gonna have to go another full day. Like, when am I gonna get that time back? Now I have like this negative balance of this like core part of something that I value and that gives me life, you know? Like, whatever that core activity is, that's going to be your fuel that powers you through the first hour to hour and a half of that fog, of that uncertainty, of that depression, of all the negativity in the morning. That's going to be your fuel that's going to get you through. So you have to figure out what that is, and then you have to do it every day. Like, don't stress out, have to do it every day. Like, if you don't do the thing that gives you life every day, you can still wake up, you can still power through, you can still grit your teeth. Like, we're very resilient as humans and we can do it. But I'm talking about like long-term, sustainable discipline and good habits. You need to be able to do that thing that gives you life every day. And that shouldn't stress you out. You should want to do the thing that gives you life every day. Like, don't view it as a homework assignment. View it as like filling up gas in the middle of the desert so you don't run out in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's something that you should want to do. And imagine filling up gas is actually an enjoyable activity, whatever that is, like taking a long walk or playing a video game you enjoy. Like, you have to make sure that you have that thing that gives you life, because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And Jack's not gonna wanna wake up at 5 a.m. when all he knows is that he's gonna have a full day of work ahead of him and no fun or no life-giving activity. So it's hard enough to wake up just by getting enough sleep. But even if you get enough sleep, you have to make sure that you have something to look forward to when you wake up in the first place. Like, at least for me personally, it's ridiculous how unmotivated I am if I don't get that core main activity, if I don't get to be able to spend time with my wife or relax or do something that I enjoy. If I don't get to do any of that during a day, and I wake up at 5 the next day, I am like so sad and so over it and so pessimistic and so negative, because I mean, everything sucks. It's 5 a.m., you're tired, it's dark, you don't want to, like, you just spent a whole day working and now you're gonna wake up early and work a day again. Like, again, you can do it. I did that for 2 years, but it's like, man, you gotta sprinkle some life throughout your day too. And if you can do that, then waking up gets a lot easier. And that's part of the reason why waking up for school can be so difficult for some people, because why would you want to wake up early and go do something you don't want to do? Like, it's hard, it's really tough. So that's why you gotta find a reason to be excited to wake up. Like, you know, in high school, like, oh, for me, this might sound silly, but I knew that I could get chocolate milk and chocolate donuts first period. And that, to me, like, if I got to school early when they were still selling crap in like the main area, I could go buy those before they sold out. And that was a motivation for me to get up actually earlier instead of snoozing for 15 more minutes so I could do that. So you have to find something that, you know, gives you life, that is like something that you can look forward to. And if you don't have any of that in your day, if you don't go to sleep with that in your gas tank, in your emotional bank account, it's gonna be really tough to wake up. So keep that in mind, because it's not gonna be easy when you wake up. People go to bed exhausted after a hard work day, and unless you can sleep in, you know, you're not gonna wake up refreshed. You're gonna wake up, especially if you're waking up early after you worked a long hard day, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna not be happy. Believe me, I've done it multiple times. You can look up all the benefits of waking up early and getting things done. There's all TED Talks on the internet, like I said. Like, you can find reasons of the benefits of waking up early, but if you can get those two things, if you can get at least the minimum hours of sleep, and if you can make sure all your ducks are in a row when you fall asleep and that you have something to look forward to the next day, no matter what it is, and you make sure that you have enough gas in your tank to get through that first hour, I really think you could be a morning person. I think you could actually like it, and I 10 out of 10 recommend it. But remember, you're not gonna wake up happy. Most likely, not for a while. After you keep waking up early for a while, it'll get easier, you'll enjoy it, you'll get into a rhythm and a routine, but it's not gonna be easy, but it's definitely worth it. So thanks so much for watching. That's it for this Thoughtful Thursday. If you liked it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and everything you do anyway. I have a Twitch, I have a Patreon, and I also have a Discord. If you like more of these and more of these talks, you know, check me out, join the community, love to have you, and I will see all of you next week.